What's up everyone and welcome to the club. In today's video I'll show you a simple method on how to draw the human body in this basic anatomy sketch tutorial. For today's tutorial we need some plain white paper and a pencil. I'll be drawing with this 0.7mm mechanical pencil with a 2B graphite stick. Now the standard rule is that the human body is approximately 7.5 heads tall, but I like to keep things a little bit more loose. Sticking to that rule makes my drawings feel a little bit too rigid. So the first thing I want to do is establish the size of the head along the top of our page. So along the top we're just going to roughly sketch out a circle, and this is for the skull. Just going all the way around, and the circle doesn't have to be perfect. We're just using this as a guide. Let's go to the center of our circle. We're going to sketch a line coming all the way down towards the bottom, and this is going to help us balance out the weight of our character. Pull this all the way down towards the bottom. Now when we're posing out our character, we want to make sure that there's an equal balance of weight from the left and right side of that center line. So let's move down. I'm going to sketch out the shoulder. I'm going to give this a slight slope. Come down and across. Now from the shoulders, we want to slope the chest coming down over towards the right. Just going to angle this down. And we'll close out the center of the chest with a straight angled line. Now I want to curve the body back down towards the hip. So starting from these 2 points, we're just going to bend this around and then down. Just pulling this in a little bit narrower. And just round out the bottom of the hip. Let's add a block across the lower torso. On the left side, it's going to bend this out and then down. And on the right, come straight down. And then again, just rounding out the bottom of the lower torso. Let's go back up to the shoulders. We're going to sketch out a circle around the corners of the upper body. Now, over on the left side, in the center of the circle, it's going to angle the arm, coming down and out towards the elbow. Sketch a circle across the elbow. Let's do the same thing on the right. Starting up here, come down and out towards the same height. Add that circle. Let's work our way down towards the wrist, starting back in the center of the elbow, bring this down and in, and then add that smaller circle, and then on the right do the same thing. Now we're just going to pull this arm down a little bit lower because we slope the shoulders down on the right. Now because we shifted the upper body over towards the right, we want to bring the legs back over towards the left. Let's add some sockets for the legs. Starting on the left side, we're going to go up. Let's bring that down towards the center of this curve. Go up and then down towards the right. Now I want to place most of the weight on the right leg. So in the center of this curve, I'm just going to bend the leg coming down and then in towards that center line. Add a circle across the knee. Now over on the left, we're going to straighten this out. Come down, just push this out toward the left and then add another circle. Now this right leg, we want to bring that weight back down towards that center line. So starting in the middle, going in and then down towards the ankle, add a small circle. Let's go over toward the left, going out and then down towards the same height. Let's rough in the feet. Starting from the outside, we're going to point this foot a little bit forward, so curving this out from the ankle, come down and out towards the toe, and then curve the outside. Let's go over towards the right side. We're going to see the inside of the foot. We'll start with the heel, curve this down and across, and then bend that back up towards the ankle. Now that we have the basic pose, we want to start adding some volume to the head, arms, and the legs. Let's start with the head. We're going to start coming down the side, down towards the jaw, and we just want to roughen the detail. Just coming down in towards the chin. Now from the center of the skull right here, it's going to angle the neck, coming down and then in towards the shoulder on the left. Let's add a socket, going across the shoulders. Now let's add some thickness to the neck, coming down, and then the upper shoulders from the neck coming out towards the shoulders. Now I want to refine the shape of the body. Let's start from the top of the shoulder. Just going to bend this in towards the back. Now I just want to blend in these shapes, coming around towards the hip and then down. With the chest, we're going to go out, come down towards the rib cage, and then bump out the hip. And then going back and just adding some thickness to the arms. Start with the back, coming in towards the elbow. Just going to close this off. And then from the elbow, it's going to taper this down towards the wrist. Do the same thing on the right. Let's go back and add a guideline across the eyes. And then the ears along the side of the head. And then with the hands, we're just going to add 2 blocks coming down. Just going to widen the hands along the bottom. Let's add a bump on the inside for the thumb, and then extend that index finger coming down. Now we're going to add some thickness to the leg, starting with the one on the left. We're going to start from the hip, and bend this out, come down towards the knee. Let's do the same thing on the right, so the leg gets narrower, coming in towards the knee. And then with the lower leg, I'm just going to bump this out around the calf, and then down towards the ankle. Now we can go back and just lightly clean up those guidelines along the inside of the body. Now once we're happy with the proportions and the pose, we can go back and just clean this up. So we're going to start back at the top of the head. It's going to darken up our lines. And again, this is a rough sketch. We don't need to get too detailed with this. Just add a little bit of detail to the eyes. Block in the ears. Now we can add some hair, just going on top of the skull. And then working our way down the side of the neck. Now along the top, we're just going to add the collarbone, coming down towards the center. Slope the shoulders going out. Just round up the shoulders. You can enhance the edge of the chest, and the center seam of the chest is going to go across and then down in the middle. Just shifting that over towards the right. The rib cage will sit right about there, coming down towards the hip. And go back and just accentuate that center seam of the body, spinning this out towards the right, back in towards the center. Now that we established our character's proportions, we're going to draw the exact same thing over on the right side, but from a 3/4 back position. So let's start by lining up the top of the head. So we're going to lightly sketch a line going across towards the right, go down towards the bottom of the circle, and draw another line going across. Now right here, we're just going to sketch out that circle for the skull. And again, just going in rough, doesn't have to be perfect. Now we're going to draw that straight line coming down the center, all the way down towards the bottom. And again, this line is to create some balance in our character's pose. That line across the bottom. Now if you imagine looking at this character from the back, you can see the body is going to shift over towards the left. So starting from the base of the neck, coming down towards the shoulder, angle the shoulders up. Now from the base of the neck, we're just going to bend the body out towards the left, come down, and then back in towards that center line, towards the bottom. Let's add those block shapes across the top of the body. From the top corners of the shoulder, come down and out. Now we can go across and just add a guideline if we need to. Just going to slope this down towards the back. Now with the hips, we're also going to line this up, come down towards the hip, and then the lower torso. Down, round out the back, round out the bottom. Now if you remember, we made the right leg the balanced leg. So we're going to start from the hip on the right side, the leg, come down and in towards the heel, just line up the heel, and then the left leg is just kicked out. So we're going to come down and out. Just line up the knees. Again, drawing a circle, go out and then down towards the ankle. Now we're gonna go back up to the top, draw the shoulders, the circle, come down towards the elbow, go across towards the wrist. Now with the skull, we're gonna see the head from the back 3/4 position. So we're gonna move over towards the left, draw a straight line coming down. Let's draw a straight line coming down the face and in towards the chin. And we can just line this up, go across towards the back of the head. Let's thicken up the neck, coming down towards the shoulders, come down towards the shoulder, and then round this out. Let's add some shape to that front arm, coming down across the bicep, and the back towards the elbow, and then down towards the forearm. Again, just tapering this in. Let's add that block for the hand and the index finger. Let's go back and add some shape to the chest, down the rib cage, and then the back. We're just going to blend the shapes in, going across and then down. Let's thicken up those forearms. And now we're going to add some thickness to the thigh, starting with the one in the front, coming down towards the knee. Just get the foot going up and in. Now we can go back and just add a little bit more detail. So the ear along the inside, add some shape to the profile edge of the head, coming in towards the neck. And we're just going to add a little bit of hair going around. Now the center seam of the back, I'm just going to pull this up in between the shoulder blades. And go back and just enhance those guides so you see the separation points. And we'll go back and just lightly clean this up. Now at this stage, we can go back and just think about each of the different sections in three-dimensional forms. So let's start with the upper torso. Just going to slope this up towards the shoulders. Just bend the shoulders going across. And then along the bottom of the chest, we see the bottom edge of that three-dimensional shape. Let's add some shape to the side of the arm where the socket would be, right about here. And then we'll do the same thing across the lower torso. So curving the hips, going across, and then we'll see the top edge of that form. Now over on the right side, we're going to do the same thing. I'm just going to round out the bottom because the top half of the body is bent out. Just going to see the top of that form. And then along the bottom lower torso, we'll see the top edge coming down towards the hips. Now each section of the limbs are basically cylinders with a little bit of form. So let's start with the forearm. Draw the top edge, and we're coming down towards the bottom of that cylinder, closing off the bottom. Do the same thing on the right side, coming down towards the wrist. We'll draw on the back side, and then the top going all the way around. Let's do the same thing across the legs, starting with the knee, and then the top of the leg, and down, Same thing with the ankles. Now we're going to wrap up our anatomy sketch right about here. And if you found this tutorial helpful, let me know in the comments below. We'll get into a lot more detail in future lessons. I want to thank you for watching, and I'll see you again soon.